Hello everyone, and welcome back to my final video log. It's been, well, not really long in the making, but a bit long overdue. So where have I been all this time? Firstly, there hasn't been any video logs for a long while due to 1, the Easter break, and 2, me cracking on with my independent project. Of which, the independent project is done and dusted. I did have to get an extenuating circumstances as I fell ill right before I even was able to submit the work. And because I fell ill, missed the deadline, I decided to spend a few extra days, well, essentially an extra week to work on it more, finish off the game, at least a bare bones demo. So is at least something that I can submit. I did also have my GPU programming exam, which I did attend miraculously. I did also attend the hackathon, which is just a presentation of it all present, or every group is presenting. And yeah, it was just a bunch of presentations. It was kind of boring. And like to be fair, I was just mainly just being slavish spy on my phone. So yeah. And then I had the final Vivo. I presented that. It went as it did, but then I was able to last week on a Tuesday be able to actually do something about the extenuating circumstances as I've been training for like at least like 2 weeks now. Well, since I did, which was like at the start of May, and now we're like over halfway through May. So yeah. But overall, as this is a final video log, it is best to summarize my experiences. And you can also tell that I'm rugged as hell. Yeah. Even though I am literally only 21. Yeah. Anyways, overall, would I recommend going to university? Depends. It is what is your fucking line of work more creative? Like let's say arts and crafts, painting, or even games design or game development like me. Then I wouldn't recommend. In my opinion, it's honestly a waste of time. Like you might think you'll learn something like the inner workings of the industry, or have like some insider knowledge of the industry, some tips and tricks in terms of coding. But no, it's mostly just theory, and most of it isn't really hands-on. Like you don't really get to try it out properly. Like you're not always given like all the tools you needed to do something. Sometimes you do, but that's like, let's say, a week before a deadline. And for me especially, some of the modules I had to do for my course were like hit or miss. Like for me, one of them, being a solid miss, was like networking and cybersecurity. Like cybersecurity is basically you know how to use your head, and you won't get hacked. And that's like like the most simplest cybersecurity thing like what you can do is to not be stupid. And secondly, networking. Do you think I'm gonna be the one doing all the cables for a business? No. Like, no. And even then, it's not that hard. You just know how to route cables to where and how it all interacts. Maybe, yes, we did use technically some software that technically talks with the switch and whatnot, but even then, I don't benefit from it. I benefit more from what does my PC do? What can it do? Can I cook a pork chops in it? And stuff like that. But even then, most of the knowledge in my field can technically be just looked up online. So anything creative. it is honestly just best to do it. Don't dawdle, but just do it. But unless you're doing like physics, biology, more gritty subjects that you kind of need a degree for, then yes, you kinda do need to go to university, especially if you want to be a doctor of some kind. You need to go to university unless you want to spend the time you would spend in university plus extra as like a nurse or like some kind of intern or just someone at the very bottom of like the chain of doctors and whatnot. Because from what I know, you need to go to university to be able to specialize in a certain field of being a doctor, either being a someone that is able to do stuff like the brain, something to do with like in your stomach region, are you gonna be like a surgeon or like a dentist? It specializes, so you kind of need to go to university, but not always. If it's creative, of course. But yeah, but with the time that I did spend in university, it was fine. You can definitely make friends. You can definitely benefit from it. Like I definitely benefited. I made 3 solid friends from university, which isn't a lot, but it's always something. Considering the fact that all of this was from my home. I didn't go to a student accommodation, of which most people do. Of which student accommodation is literally the quick and easy way of making new friends, as you will be living with those people for at least many months at a time. So it's good to know them. And you might even make friends and might still be in contact with them outside of university. Who knows? But I didn't, and it's a miracle. And yet I'm still here with whatever money I still have left from my student finance and debt. As as we all do that go to university. Yeah. But overall, if there's any more specific questions, don't be afraid to ask them in the comments. I do read them and I do try to answer ones that are solid questions. But I will always leave some kind of mark that yes, I've read your comment. But yeah. I do hope that all these video logs that I've done over the past 3 years now have at least helped some people out there, given some insight to the education system. And if you ever need to reach out, don't be afraid. There's a Discord link down in the description, which leads to my Discord server. It's pretty dead, but one day it might be more bustling, more active. But I do and will always read any messages. As well, I do need to moderate it to a degree, you know. But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed, and see you guys next time. Stay healthy and peace.